On the day that marks 5 years since Brexit, the biggest democratic vote in our history, that the political establishment did everything they could to try and undermine, it is very unsurprising that another democratic threat is now taking place and coming to the forefront, because it is being led by our now Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the hater and wrecker-in-chief who for years advocated ignoring the democratic will of the British people to leave the European Union. Now this evil bastard is cancelling local elections, terrified of the Reform UK threat that is going to destroy him eventually, trust me.
In a panic, aren't they, calling him Donald Slump? I think we've all got to calm down and take a breather. And I've got to say, thank God, and you never said it, we're not in the EU. Thank heavens for Brexit. 20%, and we're only at 10%. But the one thing, Keir Starmer can walk around like this proud peacock, all he likes, like he's the great statesman. He's not doing us justice. Why hasn't he picked up the phone to Nigel Farage and said, please help us, we can negotiate down to 5%. Nigel is friends with Donald Trump. All this Labour Party have ever done is slate him in the past. We could possibly get an even better deal.
And I know we've done the right thing, but to actually deliver what people wanted, we need a political party in government that actually believes in Brexit and will keep the promises that were made to the British people, and that party is Reform UK.
Now, inside the halls of Downing Street, a wave of leaks and whispers from anonymous sources is fueling concerns about mounting confusion and internal disarray within Keir Starmer's government. Simultaneously, several media outlets report that some members of his cabinet are accusing Reform UK supporters of being far-right extremists and Islamophobes. Amid the escalating controversy, there is growing speculation about a potential investigation into the rise of Reform UK, particularly if Labour suffers a defeat in the upcoming local elections this May. While these reports remain unconfirmed, they've already ignited a political firestorm. Sources close to Starmer say he's banking on structural changes within local councils to consolidate Labour's control, secure voter loyalty, and possibly attract new support. However, public opinion seems unconvinced. Many have dismissed his strategy as both desperate and misleading. What was initially perceived as a calculated electoral move has turned into a political bombshell. Labour, already grappling with a £22 billion financial scandal, now faces protests, internal rebellion, and a sharp decline in public trust. Demonstrations outside Downing Street are increasing, and social media is ablaze with trending hashtags demanding government accountability. Petitions calling for transparency have already gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures. One of the most controversial developments has been the cancellation of 13 local elections, officially attributed to boundary changes. But many believe the real motive is to avoid an expected defeat by the rapidly growing Reform UK, which is gaining significant traction in areas such as Essex, Kent, and Lancashire. Even former Labour loyalists admit the move seems undemocratic, raising concerns about the party's intentions. There is a growing sense among the public that the government is trying to suppress the opposition rather than face them at the ballot box. Inside Labour itself, panic is starting to take hold. Some MPs are distancing themselves from the leadership's decisions, and the party's message is becoming increasingly fractured, leading some critics to label it chaotic and dangerous. Some political analysts have gone so far as to compare Starmer's actions to those of authoritarian leaders, questioning whether the UK is slipping toward an undemocratic path. Calls have emerged for a full inquiry into the motives behind the election delays, which many see as an obvious attempt to silence public dissent. Amid all of this, a humanitarian issue has come to light in the village of St. Osyth, where a farm that supports individuals with disabilities is on the brink of closure due to a lack of funding. This farm has become a symbol of declining community services, sparking widespread support, even prompting local MP Nigel Farage to join the campaign to save it. Beyond the immediate crises, there is a growing sense that the Starmer government is squandering valuable opportunities in the post-Brexit era. Rather than building new global partnerships, it appears to be pivoting back toward the EU, with critics accusing Labour of continuing pre-Brexit policies without a clear vision for Britain's future. Economic and trade policies have also come under fire, particularly with discussions of potential US tariffs that could severely impact small British farms. Many fear the government lacks the capability to respond effectively to international challenges. As public discontent grows, Reform UK is emerging as a viable alternative to the traditional parties. Many believe that neither Labour nor the Conservatives are capable of delivering real solutions to the country's pressing issues. Even within the Labour Party, dissenting voices are getting louder, calling for a change in leadership and policy direction. A growing number believe that if Starmer continues down this path, it could lead Labour into another prolonged period of opposition and spark a major shift in the UK's political landscape. In a fiery interview with Jeremy Vine, British journalist and columnist Carol Malone made explosive remarks, describing the performance of local councils as utter stupidity and claiming the country is being run by people who lack the slightest bit of common sense. She didn't spare the political parties either, directing her sharp criticism at the Labour Party, which she labeled as a bunch of woke idiots. Watch the clip.
I think this council is appalling. We're getting to a situation now where councils are being run by idiots, and this is the problem they have. They gamble our money on vanity projects. How dare they spend money? This particular council spent 60 grand on the Kashmiri Arts and Heritage Foundation.
No, hold on.
I'm sorry, that's not a service.
Yeah, but these are people
How
who
dare
give
they?
their...
The city's residents are currently facing mounting piles of rubbish outside their homes, as negotiations to end the strike continue to stall without any resolution. Adding to the political tension, a Birmingham city councillor announced their resignation from the Labour Party earlier today, ending a 40-year membership, in protest over budget cuts and the worsening waste management crisis. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.